Hi, my name is Funmi Ade-Ojo. I am the principal designer and the interior design strategist at the House of Banstead. And you would be asking, what does that mean? What we do is we go above and beyond the regular aesthetic value system around interior design and aim to help you build a more holistic house, home, or space by going beyond and above the look, but going into the feel, the psychological effects, the impact, and what you get from your home. So we help you recognize ways to truly have a high impact home, not necessarily tied to how much money you spend, but how cleverly you spend the money. And that's what we help you do at the House of Banstead. In 2020, we decided to build our own home. And this is a showcase of what I do as an interior design strategist, which is, as I said, far and above what you would typically expect from an interior designer. We have a son who is on the autism spectrum. He has the ASD, as they call it. And as an interior designer, it was necessary for me to have a pretty house, but it was also necessary for him to have a functional, motivating environment that addressed his sensory issues. And this was quite a task I did not know was actually a gap in the market. So what I've seen is a lot of people, because they can't change the environment, have to bow to it and allow it to dictate how they actually live. And I found that to be unsavory, especially since I have a child who's on the spectrum. So I had to dig in deep into the research, the real, the whole environmental psychology, behavioral modification aspect of design, which a lot of people don't understand until you're in my shoes. So we did that, worked with a local architect, John Wilmot, who was benevolent in letting me change a lot of his outlays to fit and suit what I was trying to achieve with my child. And there are many ways we did that in this house. We kept it simple, we kept the clean lines, we kept it open, we used glass in many areas to give visual accessibility. It's an open concept house. I literally know where my child is every single time, and I don't have to move. There are less walls than you would expect. And this also brought into a lot of civil engineering, as you would know. There's a lot of beams holding things up, and you can't see pillars. And John Wilmot did a fantastic job helping with that. And we literally went to the drawing board together to create this house. I'm thankful for his expertise. But as I said, I do pre-design consultation with architects to help achieve this level of impact in your home. Just being there as a sounding board, someone who understands the research behind what you're trying to align with, whether it be sustainability, with adaptability, with, even inclusion, with my child who has autism. And it's something that I'm very proud of, I'm excited about, super passionate about, and I live it. It's what I do. So now I would love to bring you into each space to show you how we use the strategies I talked about and the things that are important to me as a client, because I am a client in this particular scenario, so that we could get it to be the best for us as a family. Well, in the living area of the home, it's an open concept home, and oftentimes I hear from clients that it is almost impossible to design in an open space. It's actually a lot more challenging because you're having to deal with balance and harmony and those difficult decisions. So what we did was to create zones within the open space. And each zone has its own function, but it's done so successfully where it blends the harmonizing factors between every single zone. And we don't need walls to see the demarcations where each zone or each function ends. Behind me is the formal living, which has elements of dark, but it's more like a taupe, some neutral palettes drawn in with our art and the pieces we've picked. And then you zone into the dining area, which is darker, it's more moody, immediately you come in, you know the different language in terms of the design, but it's harmonious. There's Black elements. It doesn't feel forced. It feels cozy, even though it's open. And that's the trick. That's what we do at a House of Banstead. It's about the little strategies that don't occur to you, but we bring it out and we make it work for you. And as you go into the other areas of the house, there's more openness on the other side, which we'll see shortly. We always talk about the luminaire game. The luminaire game for us is real. We do not play with our light. We make sure the light is a sculptural piece. It's an installation. It's something that forces you upwards, that forces you to look, forces you to feel. So we make sure in a lot of our projects that we put things that help you feel like, yeah, that's different. I'm not going to see that somewhere else. We take that very personally, and that's one of our big promises to our clients. In the living room, this is a formal living room. It is a heavily used part of the house. It doesn't look like it. It's a little trick that we have where we've picked out the most durable of all furniture, the kind of things that look pretty, stays pretty, but can be used. The house is a workhorse. It's something we're really proud of. It reduces the amount of fretting you have to do about your materials. And again, that's what we do, and that's what I do as a strategist. I pick out the most fine-looking, elegant-looking piece of furniture that would stand the most brutal force. And it's something that I love to do. It's a trick. It's almost like an illusion, because a lot of the times we get, how do you clean this house? No, we don't clean this house that much. We just live in the house. The house breathes. It looks beautiful. We put little, simple, small design strategies in place to make sure that things don't move too much out of place, but it's livable. They're not as breakable. So we do have lots of vases, but they are all glued down with anything you can find on Amazon, to be honest. But they're cleverly hidden and you do not even know they're there. But no one is moving this space. Like, it's here and it's working and it's living, and that's what we do. As an interior design strategist, we do consultancy because we want people to see that there's a lot of value to be added into their space. I have a child who's on the autism spectrum. I have 3 kids, and I still manage to create a space that is both beautiful and durable. And it's not a space that can't be used by my children. So we go into everything, into the upholstery, the materials, what you do, how you use it, what the feel is. My son is on the spectrum and he's prone to touching things and pulling things down. But we use simple, small strategies where when we find alternatives for ceramics, we use hardware in ceramics. This is a ceramic, but it doesn't break too easily. We go into the manufacturing, like how much, glass or how much clay is in it. How is it gonna break? What does that look like? So we pay attention to very fine things. And when sometimes we want a look that maybe isn't as durable, we find tricks to make sure that they work within the space. Like sometimes I would literally have small ways to adhere the surface to each surface. And again, as a chemist, which I am, I make sure that even my material science works. And I'm always thinking about how I can elevate the space and not have to force my clients to live with a specific condition. I want them to live life. I want them to have amazing things, irrespective of what the family situation is. And that's what I did for myself in this space, and is what I love to do for my clients. So welcome to my home studio, or my home office, which has been inhabited by my children. But the original intention of this place, it's an office, it's still an office. We created a layout that was more favorable to our home or our family needs. With the architect, he had a bigger office that was more expansive, and we lost out the formal living. And we came in as strategists to align what we needed for our home. And that was to pull back on some of the the real estate need of a bigger office. We didn't need that. And we created something that is obviously an office, functions as an office, is adequate for most people who need a home, office. But we're able to get our formal living and get our powder room in there, which would have not happened if we did not realign the layout to fit our needs. However, as pretty as this looks, it's been taken over by my children. And this is now an office where my kids do their homework, and a lot of work goes into here, and I appreciate it. And when I get the chance, I'll show you my home studio downstairs in the basement. In designing the space, we actually opted for a textured cabinet, and you can hear that. I hope it fixes some people's ASMR needs. And we went with white countertops that are easy to clean. And then the most interesting feature for me and most personal is the use of a corner glass piece so that there's visual accessibility to the rest of the house. This is a relatively darker part of the house, but we integrated light, we integrated visibility, and that's what we do. That's what I do. I make sure that every part of your design needs are met as much as it is practical to meet them. And this is what we did. In my home, we have this corner where I can actually literally just lean forward and look, and I can see everything. As I said, I have a child who's on the spectrum, so it's very necessary for me to keep an eye on him literally many times of the day. He's usually in the space just doing his thing, but I want to be able to feel comforted and know that he's all right. And this glass does that. But it does two things. It allows me to see him, but it allows me more light into the space, which is tapping into some of the issues about that psychological, wanting to see the environment, wanting to see nature, wanting to see and not feel like you're in a box. And that's what I do. For us, kitchens have to work. They do not just look pretty, they are workhorses. We created a pantry that is hidden away with an invisible door where it's part of the high impact, the high materiality. You don't know it's there, but it's there. And it's a good substantial size for everything that you want to do or keep. We use brands that align with us in every way. Again, brand alignment in terms of what we offer clients in terms of consultancy. We use really good, hardy, durable, appliances that fit with the alignment of our clients, and in this case, us. These work superbly, this double oven, and then it does everything we needed to do. And we have an offset of beautiful porcelain tiles. And this, for me, was a sustainable choice because it is hardy. It does well with heat. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It fits in the style of what I wanted for this space, which was super minimal, super, just that feel of something that is warm to the touch. It's not cold. It has that leather feel, but it's not the leather quartz. And then another thing we do in alignment with strategies that helps you get more high impact within your space, we research brands, and this is an amazing brand called Zomodo. It's an Australian brand, and it gave us the streamlined, super clean sink that allows you to have things that hide away a lot of the, the work hardiness of the space. It looks pretty, but again, it works so hard. This is a true sink. It works. It really does what it's supposed to do. Everything is clean. I often get asked, how do you clean your space? I really don't spend hours cleaning the space. The space is super effective in what it does. It works, and then it's very easy to clean. We have tons of storage cleverly put here. The length of the entire kitchen, the whole 24 feet of it, is storage upon storage, compartmentalized. I have room for pots, for pans, for cutlery, for for crockery. Everything we need is in the space. And we use super clean panels, like the gray, nice panel, which is super easy to clean, does not show much on it, and it is super effective. I have 3 kids, as I've said. They literally come in here and make their own food, and Nobody knows because the entire kitchen hasn't burnt down. It's still super clean. Here we have a melee cooktop, which is amazing. I go to boiling in like 1 minute. Like, this is super effective. It cooks super fast. It's super efficient. It cooks in a clean, amazing way. My hood is a real hood, but tucked into the custom hood feature, which is another thing we do with our clients. We pay attention to details that work, things that are beautiful but functional and easy to maintain and are durable. On the far end, I have my appliance sink and my appliance garage, it is called, which tucks away a lot of the hardware and things you might not want to show to the world. So I've got coffee, I've got kettles, I've got everything that works and gone. So it's stuff that we do. It's part of what we do at the House of Banstead. It's part of what I do as an interior design strategist. I just make sure you get more bang for your buck and it works for you functionally. Along with what we do at the House of Banstead, we design for families for their lifestyle. Here we have a supersized island, which is great for entertainment. We have a lot of family. They come around a lot of the time, and there's never a space not taken up. There's never a point where people say, oh, I don't know where to sit. It can be super intimate, and it can be super big in terms of actual numbers of people in the space. And this is one of my proud moments in the space. It is clean, easy to clean. We move on, and then there's a drop down for the dining. Again, I have kids who want to eat together, and this is such a safe spot, a cool spot where they can all sit. We actually sit here as a family, super easy to clean. It's a walnut finish, which matches with the hood, and it was a specification to the millwork manufacturers to make it tie in and just continues the harmonious and the balance within the space. And again, I would not be the principal designer at the House of Banstead if we did not do lights. Lights are our thing, luminaires are our thing. We look for the most sculptural, most beautiful, most formed, amazing luminaire to put in spaces. And we make sure that it goes with your lifestyle. We make sure it goes with the function of the space. We make sure that there's a bit of drama without drama. I think light fixtures are an easy way to add pizzazz and the character and the wow factor into any space without breaking the bank. You're gonna buy it anyway, so make it worth your while. One of the challenges we get with open concept homes is that it's one space, but you somehow have to put distinct parts of the home within it, and the spatial elements that point you to a function. In this space, we have literally a formal living, a family room, a kitchen, and a dining. And how do we do that? So every place has its own distinct factor. We have here an amazing high impact mantle piece with the marble, but right over there we have just a beautiful formal living that is set aside. It's its own space. It has its own functionality, its own characteristic. But the good and amazing thing we do here is that we tie it all in. Again, we bring in harmony, we bring in balance, and of course we bring in high impact, because that's what we do. We make it look bigger, better, more aesthetic, more functional, and it literally is a hard-working space. It does every single thing it needs to be done. We use acoustics where it matters. The paneling on the pantry wall is an acoustic. It has acoustic functions, so it soaks up some of the sound. We have glass that breaks some of that sound, and of course we have quite a lot of furniture in this place without it feeling crowded. It's a clever way of putting things that help you achieve what you need to achieve without it looking weird or crowded or a little too much. And that's what we try to do. Simple lines, yet we put in character and things that help you function better. This house, in its sense of function, also ties in with our love of art in this house. We love art. The house somehow made it to a place where it's a gallery house, and we have lots of beautiful painting, custom painting commissioned by people, some bought off the shelf, some bought during travels abroad. And the whole point is to infuse a lot of character, a lot of personality. And a lot of the times I find in open concept contemporary homes, it lacks kind of the spirit and the soul of the home. So one of the things I love and I've tried to do in this house is to introduce us. We live here, we are here, this is us, this is truly what we do. And it really truly affects everything we do. It gives back to us, and we love living here. And one of the things I love about the space is it's one room, technically, in spatial definition, but it's multiple rooms in the way we've built it, in the way we've styled it, in the way we've created zones. And I got a really nice compliment from a friend recently and said, when I'm in your house, even though it's one space, I feel like I can be away from everyone if I choose to be. And that's what this house does. It's one space, but you literally can have your own zone within that space. And it is amazing because it's very personal. And that brings me to the end of my home tour. This is the main floor, but we're looking forward to part 2. So stay tuned to see the top floor, which is, again, another favorite. I can't tell which one I want. I like the best, but can't wait for you guys to join me on the second floor.